So, welcome to the the beginning stage of the drawing, and I'll show you what I do. It's only the first half hour or so, so nothing much has happened. It's about becoming familiar with a portrait face and just playing with slight marks, definition, rubbing away, and repeat until you begin to become one with that subject. As unfamiliar as a new face is, it's always a bit tricky, but let's see what we can do, and I'll tell you what I've done so far. So, what I did is understand the position on the surface with the composition that I have available to me. And what I usually do is there's loads of different ways of establishing the position of a face on your paper or canvas. I normally would make 4 lines like this, top, bottom, and to side. And then I'll look at that without this bit here. I'll look at that and decide where I want it, if it's the right size, if it's where I want it positioned, always being aware that the top mark and the top of the picture has to be a reasonable distance. You don't want that way up here, so that's quite a nice one because there's a lot in the picture, so it has to be pretty much down. And then what I'll do is start with the eye positions, and that means understanding if all eyes have an asymmetry, so they're not always horizontal. It's either one up, one down, depending on the position of the face. And then I will begin to make some decisions about the relationship. For example, the corner of the eye to the corner of the eye there is often the same distance as from there to there. So you've got 1, 2, 3. And this eye being this one is always a little bit wider sometimes, depending on the orientation of the face. And then I would look at the relationship between the bottom of the nostril and the corner of the eye, and the bottom of that and the corner of that eye, just to see that this triangle, this inverted triangle, has got the same dimensions as the core image. And then I'll sort of rough in some of the shadow shapes. Now, shadow shape is this bit here. It's easier to see a negative or positive shape and the angle of the eyebrow as one unit, and then the same here as one unit. And then to define the base of the nose, the shadow shape here is one unit where the moustache is. And then once I've done a little bit of work on that, and I am sort of getting reasonably happy with it, I'll then take this, which is a mono eraser with a tiny rubber cylinder in it, and then I'll do some rubbing. And now, to define the shadow shape, for example, you can go into this like that, define that shape, see where the highlight is in the nose and the lightest lights. This bit here is quite light, and then you can redefine the position of the eyes quite easily by picking back the white of the eye, and this lower bit of the eyelid's quite white, so I know that. Then the brow line's defined. You don't want to have a hard edge to the brow, so you'll sort of, since the light's going to hit the top of the forehead, that light comes down to the brow, and the brow edge begins to you begin to sort of smudge the area of the brow, between the brow, the eyebrow, and that part of the forehead. And the same on this side. Be careful and acknowledging with the reference material where the top of that goes in relation to the way the shadow and the light is falling across the face. And then you just begin to work with this and the pencil, wherever I've put it, and you sort of, there we go, and you kind of work to establish the familiarity with face and rubbing, putting in definition, and rubbing back again. And I know that this side of the face is always going to be in more shade than this one, so I will redefine and remind myself that this side of the cheek is darker than this one. And then really, really carefully begin to go back, forward, rubbing, adding, rubbing and adding. And so there'll be a lot more to this, as you'll see in the next few sessions. Well, thanks once again. Right, bye bye now.